Hi Facebook, my name is Taylor Fernandez. This is a story of how my friend Erika and I survived falling through ice into basically 20-degree water. Probably was colder than that, but we really don't know because we didn't really check. February 8th, 2015, it was about 50 something degrees out. Erika and I decided to go out to Lake Springfield and have a little bit of fun. We were just walking around on the docks talking, and we saw that the ice was still there, and I got the smart idea to go and see if it was thick enough to hold us. So we sat on this dock over by the old beach if you live around Springfield, and we sat there for a second testing it with our feet, kind of throwing rocks and everything, but nothing would go through. So I ended up having her stand up, and she walked maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and she came back. She's like, I don't want to do this. So I got some balls and I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I walked about 5 or 6 feet out, and nothing happened. Well, we ended up going back because we'd been recording the whole thing, and we came back and we said, hey, why don't we just do this at the same time? So we started recording again, and while we were recording, I decided to see how far out I could get and how I could walk to one of the other docks that was maybe 50 feet away from where we originally were. And we walked across, kept throwing rocks, trying to see if the ice would hold us. And we could hear it cracking now and then, but it was fine. We thought it was thick enough, because we had picked up these rocks and we could still see that the ice was thick underneath it. So we thought nothing of it. And I wanted to make it over to one of the docks. And I was like, no, I can go find this. So her and I walked over to this other one, and I remember looking over at her, and I said, Erika, it's fine. And I got halfway through the word fine, and the ice broke. And I went through. And Erika went to grab me, and she went through too. I helped get her out of the water by pushing her up, and she was probably in there for a minute and a half. And she kept trying to pull me up, but I couldn't lift myself. It was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I just kept screaming and crying, just asking for my parents, just telling her to let me go and just go call for help. And she kept saying, Taylor, no, you can do this, you can get up. And I couldn't lift myself, because apparently my body had sucked all of the oxygen and blood from my arms and legs. It was trying to keep me alive. And I looked at her and I said, just go call my parents. I'll tell you everything that they need to know. Just call someone. And I remember her running, and I was holding on to this metal beam on the side of the dock. And I was just sitting there screaming and crying and screaming. And I was trying to hold on, and I kept falling back every time. And I looked over, and this car pulled up, and a bunch of people were getting out. And I turned back around and trying to hold myself up, and I looked up again, and this guy was coming across the other docks. He was wearing all black, and I remember him telling me, hold on, we'll get you out. And I didn't believe him. I said, no, just make sure Erika's okay, you can't lift me. And I was about 3/4 of the way up, and I fell back. He lost his footing, and I fell back into the water, and I said, I can't do this, just go, make sure she's okay, just call my parents. I couldn't focus. I couldn't feel my legs, my arms, anything. It took him, one of the other girls, and Erika pulling me out, and I remember hooking the top of my body on the dock, and I pulled myself up, and I lay there on my stomach for a second, and I said, I don't want to go back in the water, and I rolled over, and I laid on my back, and they covered me with all these blankets and jackets, and the paramedics came and everything. When they got me to my car, I was barely able to walk, and they checked my temperature and my heartbeat, and they couldn't find a heartbeat. It was so weak. And my temperature was 94.2. I was 2 degrees away from hypothermia. And I remember getting in the back of the ambulance and having all these blankets wrapped around me, and the entire time I refused to let Erika go. We kept holding hands, making sure she was okay. And I want to thank her for not letting me go, for telling me that I could do it, for making me hold on. And I want to thank the people that saved my life. I wish I could find them, but I know I won't be able to. Thank you.